Hi everyone, Caoimhin here from MTU's Blackrock Castle Observatory. In this video, we're going to take a look into the Summer Triangle and the Milky Way. These things are becoming nice and visible once we get dark enough at this time of the year. It is summertime, so as we push into the evening, we'll look pretty much over to the northwest as the sun sets, because this is where the brightest object in the sky is at the moment. So after the sun and the moon, we have our bright object Venus, and Venus is just above the sunset. So it should be one of the first things to come out. There it is, Venus coming out at just about 10 o'clock. If we take a look around the sky here, you'll see, yeah, that's pretty much it, just Venus, because it is so bright. It comes out a little bit earlier than everything else. As the sun continues to set, Venus becomes very clear here at a little after 10 o'clock. Again, not much else coming out in the sky. We've got a couple of our brightest stars. As Venus sets, the orange glow will stay, but other objects do start to come out. We've got Mars, we've got Leo over here, we've got Virgo and Boetes nice and high in the sky. Down in this direction, we've got Scorpius. So we've got some constellations. Their shapes are becoming visible here. We've got that little diamondy shape of Corvus. We can recognize them here at nearly 11 o'clock. It's 11:15. For a real good view of the night sky, even here in the city, we're waiting until almost 11:30. And Mars is still there in the sky. It's behind a tree, but if you don't have that tree, then you'll be able to see Mars at this time of the evening over the next few days. The moon has moved past full, so it's not going to be as visible as it was during the week. It'll take a little bit longer to come up. But this is really a great night to go looking at the sky tonight and tomorrow night on Sunday. The moon won't be in the way. The sun is still setting at a reasonable time. We'll still have a little bit of an orange glow, but it won't interfere quite as much as it will start to as we come closer to the middle of next month and the end of next month. As we turn around to the east, we've got that definite clear shape of the summer triangle. It's a really big triangle in the sky, and I mentioned some of the constellations inside it in our Twitter video earlier this week. While we're here looking out over into the east, and even at 11:30, you can use the little orange glow of sunset to make sure you're looking east. This is a great time to look at this portion of the sky in the countryside. So if we do move out into a dark sky, we may need to push just a tiny bit later to start seeing that glow of the Milky Way coming up from the sort of southeast there and back down in towards the north. So this is the time of year when the Milky Way comes up at pretty close to the middle of the night. If we push a little later, we'll get it even clearer here at 5 minutes past midnight. So you do have to stay up quite late, but this glow, we're seeing it going straight through the summer triangle here. So when the summer triangle is up, that part of the Milky Way is up. That's something you can rely on. And the summer triangle is so called because it stays up all night long during the summer, which means this is staying up all night long during the summer. What's unfortunate is that it is such a short night. Even though summertime isn't quite yet upon us, we need another few days, the night will already be quite short. We can see the moon here interfering with our view of the Milky Way. Jupiter and Saturn are coming up really quite early in the morning there at 2 o'clock and staying with us until reasonably late. Jupiter is very, very bright, so it will stay with us even as the sun is rising, coming up to 5 o'clock here. And the summer triangle, lovely, nice and high, pretty much straight in the south. Jupiter and Saturn will stick around just a little bit longer. Jupiter is there disappearing as we come past 5 o'clock in the morning. And then, it's daytime. By 5:30, the sun's truly up. Everything from nighttime has vanished. So we do have a very, very short night to enjoy at this time of the year, but it is a good time of year to go out, especially in a dark sky, and look for the Milky Way. So we're going to start taking a closer look here, and while we do, I'll bring up some of the constellations first. So here's Delphinus, the dolphin. We've got Sagitta, the arrow, and then we've got Vulpecula, the little fox. We've got the lyre, Lyra, and we've got the swan Cygnus and the eagle Aquila. So these are the constellations of the summer triangle. Delphinus is really a little outside the summer triangle, but it is quite close, so I usually lump it in. If we bring up the deep sky objects, you can see there's quite a lot in here. This is looking into the Milky Way. So this is an area where we get to see a lot of interesting parts of the sky, these dark patches, as well as these kind of brighter areas. The dark patches that we see in the Milky Way are essentially clouds of dust, pretty much in between and sometimes in the arms of the galaxy. So we can see some dark nebulosity here. And in some cultures, this was used to create constellations instead of the patterns between stars. So of course, it's reasonably difficult for us in cities to see the glow of the Milky Way, but also in a wetter climate, you don't get as many clear skies. So in places that are a little bit drier, you can see the glow of the Milky Way pretty much every single night, particularly in deserts. We don't get to see the particular dark patch here, but in Australia there are some tribes that have an emu, a dark shape within the Milky Way, and that's one of their constellations. But rather than being a pattern of stars, it's one of these dark gaps that they've given a shape to. So there's loads of things in here, and some of them we have seen some things in and around this area in our Messier Marathon video if you want to take a look back at that. But now that I'm showing more than just the Messier objects, you can see how many things are in here. So again, we'll just take a slightly closer look and you'll be able to see some of the nebulosity that I'm talking about, some of the clusters of stars, and some of these are open clusters of stars, some of them are globular clusters of stars. We've got various different types of nebulae out here, and it's a really interesting part of the sky to take a look at, and it's really up all night long at this time of the year. So it is really one of the best times to take a look. Alberio here is a binary star. I'll see if I can get it to split into its two components. There we go. So it is indeed two components. Alberio is a binary star. We've got a big sort of orange one and a smaller blue one. So the color difference is particularly striking. Didn't mean to make that line come up in the sky. So that is just kind of underneath Vega. It's really in the constellation of Cygnus, kind of up towards the head of the swan, near the center of the summer triangle. It's a great star to take a closer look at. We'll zoom back in now that I've shown you where that's located, and we can see that there's still loads more of these interesting fuzzy shapes hiding in the glow of the Milky Way, all of these different clusters and nebulae. So it is a fantastic, fantastic time to go and take a look at them. There's the Sagittarius Starfield, which even just a few weeks ago when we were doing our Messier Marathon video, the Sagittarius Starfield was much more visible early in the morning. And now we're here taking a look at it at just a bit past midnight, and you can really take a look at it even earlier. And there we go, moving into Scorpius with the lovely nebulosity that we can see in there. So it's a fantastic part of the sky to take a look at. We're going to now hop back into the city. I'll take away the deep sky object markings because they can sometimes get in the way, especially when you're dealing with more light pollution in this simulation. The actual writing on the sky can block out the things you're really trying to see. Now, there is still, to me at least, there's sort of a hint of the Milky Way here in Stellarium that won't really be visible in the actual sky. But once we start taking a closer look, I might move us another day into the future to make sure the moon is nice and out of the way. There we go. You do see some of the more striking features. We can see some of the glowing nebulae here. We can see the denseness of the Sagittarius Starfield. We can even see some of the colors in some of these nebulae. They're harder to see. They're much, much fainter, but they are there. We can see that that's a cluster or a group of stars coming closer together. And as we continue to push up, there's Alberio, that lovely binary star. We can see some denser areas of stars up around here. And there are some of those big sort of bubbly voids with the heat and light from stars inside blowing away gas. So these things are still visible even when you're in the city. Oh, there's Alberio. But they are going to be much more difficult, and you do need quite a powerful telescope. So I think we can use one of these areas as a good example. So let's focus in on Satyr here, another one in the constellation of Cygnus, and we'll pop up a telescope. Now this is an incredibly powerful telescope. Let's move down to something a bit more reasonable. Here we go. We'll take away these Barlow lenses, which of course make things a little bit easier to see. We'll take away these assisting lenses as well. So yeah, here we are in a city sky, bit after 12 o'clock, 1:45 in the morning, and we can definitely see that there's nebulosity here. There's definitely a fuzziness around this star in Cygnus. If we move out into the countryside and get rid of all of the city light, then it's just going to be an even more beautiful display. But it's still beautiful. It may be more beautiful in the city, or in the countryside, but it's still a fantastic thing to look at, even if you are in the city. So whether you're in the city or in the countryside, we're coming up to summertime. It's a fantastic time to take a look at the sky, and I hope you all get the chance to do so.